So now I want to show a little bit on ceilings. Ceilings can work with the objects that are in your model in that if you draw a wall and you have walls in your project, so if we draw some internal walls, I'll just make it some odd shape. Walls have a property that says that it is room bounding. So typically when you draw a ceiling, if all the walls were in that one project, or if I go to architecture and ceiling, you'll see there's 4 options. And the one that says automatic depends on you having walls in your project. If you don't have, like this case, this wall is in another project. If you don't, you can also just sketch them. So if the option under ceilings that says sketch is that you can just draw the shape that you want for the ceiling that you want. So there's 4 types. I just want to draw them quickly on here so you see them. And the families are up here. So there's the 2x4 acoustic tile. It's coming in 8 feet above the floor. So if I just draw a quick piece of it up here so you can see it, and then done. Oh, and by the way, yeah, you should be in the ceiling second floor to see the actual ceiling come in, because remember a floor plan is that you're at 4 feet cut plane looking down the way through your model, and the ceiling is coming in above that. Surprised I didn't actually get a message that told me that, because usually it says the objects can't be seen in the view. Doesn't know why, but it's either because ceilings are turned off, VG ceiling turned off, or they're in the wrong direction from the direction that my floor plan is looking. So second ceiling is, I'm going to do it by sketch as well. There's the 2x4, there's a 2x2. These are getting their pattern from the material that's used on the ceiling. If I put that in there, that's the 2x2. Next one is the gypsum board on metal stud. That one doesn't have a pattern, so if I, sorry, I accidentally changed that to there. Let me change that back to 2x2. Let me draw a new ceiling by sketch. And this one is going to be the one that I have gypsum board on metal stud. That one, I'll just put it along here, that does not have an actual pattern on it. So by that, what I mean is that if you picked on the ceiling and you said edit type, and you went to its structure, and you went to what we've got here, which is wallboard on the bottom and stud layer on the top, if you looked in the wallboard here, you see that gypsum wallboard does not have a surface pattern on it. Only when you cut through it do you see so that's why you're not seeing that. If on the other hand I picked one of these and I said edit the type, and edit in the structure I said it's using acoustic ceiling 2x2. Up here what it has is the ceiling 2x2, just like we did with our flooring material. Okay, and there's one other one in here which is a slightly strange one, and it needs some explanation. This one called generic. Generic is a 0 thickness ceiling, which is there because if you have something like a concrete floor and you want to put lights on the underside of the concrete floor, lights only go on ceilings. So by giving you a 0 thickness ceiling, it gives you a way of putting the 0 thickness ceiling on the underside of an existing floor that's maybe concrete, and then you can put lights in it. So a good example in this case would be if I just draw, oops, sorry, I keep doing that. I keep picking this and changing it. That was the 2x2. So I've got 2x4, 2x2, I've got a gypsum board on metal stud. The last one is the one that was called generic. Now if I put a generic in here, I'm going to say sketch ceiling. I'll just put it across this portion of my interior. If we look at this with a section, right? So if I do create a section through here, these are that's my generic ceiling there. And what I could do is I could say align AL to the underside of the architectural floor or the level line here, that, and if I want to, I can actually lock it. I don't have to. I'm just going to leave it up there. But the point would be if I was working on the ceiling plan here, if I went to get lights, which we're going to do, so if I do architecture, component, load family, lighting, architectural, interior, let me pick a ceiling light, like the ones I usually show are spotlight, troffer light 2x2, a sconce light that's wall based, it can only go onto a wall, and let's pick the one that goes upright, and let me pick the I don't want flat round, I want a pendant light, pendant disc light, something like that. So I've got these, don't want that one, so I've got, sorry, one more time, 2x2 troffer, sconce light, uplight, pendant light, I would pick a floor lamp as well, torchère, and the spotlight there. So ceiling based, on a floor, ceiling based, wall based, ceiling based. Let's bring those in. The whole point of me doing this was to show you that if whatever light I pick here, that's I'm going to pick the one that was the pendant. So pendant light, and over here I can drop it in this view, and if you look, it's attached to the generic ceiling that was on the underside of here, and if that ceiling were to move, the light itself is going to move as well. So I don't actually have to have a three-dimensional ceiling in there. I can use the underside of a concrete floor and use a generic ceiling to let me put light fixtures on it. So let me continue quickly with the other options that are in here. If I put my troffer light, so if I said under search T for, actually they're down at the bottom here, troffer light 2x2, so I'm going to drop one on there, drop one on there. These are ceiling based. The sconce, so if I type in sconce light, that's wall based, so you might see a strange message which is kind of like I've got no wall to place it on, right, because these are in the linked file. I can't place it if it's not in this file. So if I have a wall in here, if I just draw a wall quickly so you can see it, and I was doing my sconce light, I can't place it on a ceiling. It looks a no parking symbol, but if I have a wall in here, I can place it. And the reason I get the message is because it's not visible for some reason in this view. Ceiling plan is 7'6" looking up the way. The sconce light is below that, therefore you can't see it in this view. But if I draw a section again, create similar, just dropping it in there, I can see my sconce light is on there. It's a little confusing because when you look at the wall light, you see it says elevation is 0, But if you picked edit type, what you see is it says mounting height, or it says, where is it? Mounting height 6 feet 4. So it is 6 feet 4 above the floor, and the elevation is an adjustment to that up or down. So in other words, if I came in here and I said elevation 1 foot, I'm moving it up, or minus 1 foot, I'm moving it down below its mounting height. So let's say I just set that back to the mounting height that I want for the light. However, this is really not about lighting so much as it is about the ceilings. We're going to come back to the lighting later on. So if I go back to my ceiling plan, I've got these 4 types of ceiling. I next wanted to show that the objects that are on the ceiling, if I just select one of those lines, you see they're actually attached wherever you drop them on there. And you can use the align command, AL, to manage your pattern. So in other words, align to inside face of this ceiling, that line. So I've got exactly a 2x2 tile on the corner of this part of my ceiling. Again, with my align command, my favorite tool, I could be using that to place my line, my light. Let's see, the only one I didn't place was the spotlight, so let's just do it quickly just so you see they're all attached. If I go component, it's called downlight spotlight, so these are angled, and I'll just drop one in there. So these are ceiling based. So ceiling based, ceiling based, ceiling based, ceiling based, wall based down here. The torchère was the other one. So volts. If I drop that again, I'm going to get a message because I'm dropping it on the floor. Right, so I get this warning because I'm at 7'6" looking up the way, but if I went back to my 3D view here, I've got my torchère and all of these lights in my project. That's the beginning of the ceilings and lights. Let me stop at that point and do a quick RR. Let's do this a different way actually, so there's some educational purpose to us doing this. If I change the settings so that what I'm going to do is do for internal lights, so cancel the operation, yes. Down here high, but I'm going to do not exterior sun, but interior sun. I mean the interior where my camera is, artificial only. So let's try that. Let me adjust the lighting level, make it a bit brighter. Not changing the brightness of the light, just letting my eye adjust. It's maybe a little bit too bright.